Get ready to dim those lights and brace yourself, for we're giving you a spine-chilling journey through the 12 best offline horror games. You'll feel it's perfect for those nights when the power's on the fritz, but you're still itching for a good scare. These games will keep your heart racing, especially if the rest of the block is pitch black. Let's begin part 1. The FNAF story is all about William Afton. If you're someone who kept track, I think you noticed that they're basically letting a bizarre biopic unfold, from his humble beginnings to his descent into madness. Afton starts like the average Joe, climbs the corporate ladder to co-own a successful restaurant chain, but then things go off the rails. He creates these nightmarish animatronics that eventually turn on him. Just when you think it's curtains for Afton, boom, he's back as some kind of digital phantom. Each FNAF game throws new challenges at you. One minute you're frantically winding a music box, the next you're straining to hear breathing in pitch darkness. It's a constant, what fresh hell is this situation? The series has come a long way from just sitting in an office. Now you're running a pizza joint while dodging death at every turn. VR and AR games, they'll have you jumping out of your skin in ways you never thought possible. With each new installment, the FNAF lore gets more twisted. Dead kids possessing robots, insane cryptic mini-games are really regular things with FNAF. You'll be trying to piece together the world's most messed up jigsaw puzzle. FNAF's critical reception has been as unpredictable as its story. While the original game kicked things off with a solid 78 on Metacritic, FNAF Help Wanted scored a rocky 80 on PS4. VR features of the latter should hook you well, but the Switch version, not so much. The series hit its maximum stride with FNAF Into the Pit, an impressive 87. In a nutshell, the FNAF series has kept both players and critics on their toes. It's had its ups and downs, but it's never been boring. I think this is the kind of horror game that you can brag about to your grandchildren. Dead by Daylight has caught me in its gameplay experience, so I'll begin telling you from there. You have to form a team of 4 generally. As a survivor, you're working with your team to power up generators and find an escape route. Every task feels nail-bitingly tense when you know the killer could appear at any moment. I think the gameplay mechanics are straightforward. Your challenge lies in outsmarting the killer and coordinating with your teammates. Playing as the killer flips the script entirely. Yes, you have this choice. You're hunting down survivors from a first-person view using unique abilities to track and capture your prey. This adds depth to the gameplay, basically keeps things fresh match after match. I tell you, the game's brilliance lies in its balance. This balance creates a thrilling back and forth that mimics the tension of, say, classic horror films. Its atmosphere is genuinely creepy, with dark, detailed maps. I find the sound design particularly chilling. The killer's heartbeat growing louder as they approach is something you don't get used to. Intermittent chills and shivers add to your enjoyment. Over the years, they added iconic horror movie villains like Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. A good thing is that they possess abilities that capture the essence of their film counterparts. This attention to detail is very hard to neglect. They made sure of that. While the graphics may not be cutting edge, they make up for it with its constant stream of new content. Though it got mixed reviews from Metacritic when it came out, GameSpot liked it a lot, giving it 9 out of 10. They said the game had some problems at first, like hosting issues and missing social features. These got fixed over time. Now it's considered one of the best asymmetrical multiplayer games out there. PC Gamer also praised the game, scoring it 88 out of 100. They also pointed out how much the game has grown since its 2016 release. I definitely side with it. It's now got complex gameplay and evolved lots of different strategies players can use. This one you should definitely try out. Imagine getting a weird package that takes you back to an old toy factory you used to work at. That's how Poppy Playtime starts. You go inside and meet Huggy Wuggy, a scary monster. You find a doll named Poppy, but she vanishes. Then, a creepy spider lady called Mommy Longlegs catches you. She makes you play dangerous games to save Poppy. You make friends with Ollie, a talking toy, and face other scary things like catnap. Just when you think you're close to figuring things out, Poppy stops talking. I just told you the storyline of the 3 chapters of this game. You play the game using a special backpack called the Grab Pack. It lets you grab far away things, use electricity, and open locked doors. As you play, your backpack gets better. You even get jet boosters and different hands. The factory looks bright, but feels scary. Spooky sounds and music make it even creepier. You solve puzzles and face challenges. You can also find old tapes that tell you more about the story. You can find VHS tapes that provide background information, enriching the storyline. Poppy Playtime mixes puzzles with a cool backpack tool. Some people liked how spooky it was, comparing it to Five Nights at Freddy's. Others thought the first part was too short and the second part had some problems. Even so, lots of people watched it on YouTube and Twitch. It even inspired a wave of mascot horror games. It has become a significant entry in the genre, following the success of Five Nights at Freddy's in 2014. This game takes place in Taiwan during a scary time called the White Terror. It's about a girl named Ray who feels very sad and has a tough life. One day after a big storm, she finds herself in a creepy school. She has to run away from ghosts and figure out puzzles. The choices she makes lead to pathetic happenings. Her soul gets stuck in a loop of feeling guilty and trying to make things right. I just gave you an overview of the storyline because piecing it together is part of the game. It will provoke your thoughts just as much as it will give you chills. I think Detention excels in blending exploration and puzzle solving. The monster avoidance system is nerve-wracking. As you navigate the eerie environments, you'll find yourself constantly on edge. The hand-drawn art style draws manga fans like magnets. Each scene feels like a carefully crafted painting to me. It occurred to me that the game's dark world comes to life in a way that's both unsettlingly beautiful. If you ask me what is a must-mention about this game, I'll talk about the soundtrack. The pitch up-down really heightens tension and adds layers to the already thick atmosphere. Detention received generally favorable reviews, with Metacritic reflecting strong acclaim. Rely on Horror rated it 9/10. They praised its cohesive storytelling, which led to tragedy. Released in January 2017, it quickly topped Steam's rankings in Taiwan. It also reached 6th globally. Both Detention and Red Candle's next game, Devotion, will be preserved at Harvard Yenching Library. Detention is the kind of game that will stick with you long after you've finished playing. It tackles complex social issues head-on, weaving them into an intense narrative you'll obsess over. The Seven Mysteries of Honjo is a story-based game where you play through different characters' perspectives. It's set in 1980s Tokyo and revolves around some spooky urban legends. The gameplay is mostly about following the plot, with some parts where you investigate and answer questions about what you've learned. The cool thing is, you can switch between different characters' stories using a handy chart, but be careful. Some choices can lead to a character's death. When that happens, you'll need to go back and figure out how to change things to keep the story going. The game follows several people who get hit with deadly curses one night. You're basically a detective, poking around different places and trying to figure out what's going on. You've got characters like Yako, a teenage girl, and others like Tetsuo and Harue. Some folks like Richter and Mio help out the main characters. I tell you, as you play, you'll develop personal connections with the characters. Now, let me get to how it looks and sounds. The art style is a wicked mix of anime and horror. It's not your typical cutesy anime stuff. It's got this weird vibe that really gets under your skin, and the sound, it builds up the tension so well. I found myself looking over my shoulder even when I was just sitting at home. The game came out in March 2023 for phones, computers, and Nintendo Switch. Critics seemed to like it overall. Some found the horror elements really engaging, while others thought they sometimes got in the way of the story. Except for some small issues, the game was well received and even won an award in Japan. I must say, The Ghost is a haunting experience that is sure to linger in your thoughts when you're done playing. This indie title masterfully captures the horror atmosphere and compelling storytelling that we all seek in a truly immersive horror game. Imagine yourself ensconced in an old, creaky mansion, rumored to be haunted. As you navigate the shadowy corridors and peer into dimly lit rooms, you begin to uncover the poignant narrative behind the ghost that resides there. The game thoughtfully explores themes of loss and regret. I think it is exceptional in the sense that it evokes a deep empathy for both the living and the departed characters. Did that to me. The gameplay consists of exploration, puzzle solving, and the tension of anticipating the ghost's next appearance. You will find yourself scouring the environment for essential items, and the puzzles present a satisfying challenge. The unpredictability of the ghost's AI keeps you perpetually on edge as you weigh the decision to hide or confront the entity with limited resources. The aesthetic design and soundscape of the game seemed good to me. The mansion is rendered with such authenticity that you can almost sense the musty air. The dim lighting creates an impression that something sinister lurks in the shadows. The audio elements, each creak and whisper, heighten the suspense. This game transcends mere jump scares. Although the main storyline is straightforward, the presence of multiple endings based on your choices leave room for replayability, so you have fresh perspectives on how events might unfold differently. If you are a fan of horror games that deeply engage you, I highly recommend giving this title a try. You will find yourself reflecting on its impact long after your final session. This one that leaves an indelible mark on your psyche. With that, I call it a day or night. In this part, you got 6 games that'll have you sleeping with the lights on for weeks, and I'll be back with 6 more before that. Stay tuned, and don't blame me if you end up too scared to go to the bathroom alone at night.